The Biden-Menendez amnesty would give legal status to 10 to 12 million illegal immigrants, but it's not going to pass. Pieces of it, though, might pass. The most likely candidate is the Dream and Promise Act, which has been introduced as a standalone bill. And the most important piece of that is the dream part. In other words, giving green cards to illegal immigrants who came here when they were minors and are thus not responsible for their actions legally. That's sometimes referred to as a DACA amnesty, based on the work permit program that President Obama on his own with his pen and phone decreed in 2012. But while only about 800,000 people got work permits through DACA at one point or another, the Congressional Budget Office estimates that the DREAM Act, as it exists now, would give green cards and eventual citizenship to well over 2 million illegal immigrants. Now, while legalizing the status of people who grew up in the U.S. illegally can be a prudent way of fixing the mistakes of the past, the DREAM Act as it exists now would not be described as prudent. There are three things that would need to be incorporated into any DREAM Act 2.0 to make it a sensible approach to this problem. The first is that it should only apply to people who actually grew up here, came here as young children. The DACA program under President Obama gave work permits to people who came before age 16, and the DREAM Act expands that to all who came before age 18. But in fact, by that age, one's national identity is already largely formed. Instead, a DREAM Act 2.0 should apply to people who came as toddlers, or maybe who came before age 7, so most or all of their schooling would have been in the United States, and their psychological and emotional attachments would be to this country, not the one they were born in. The second element that any DREAM Act 2.0 should have to have is enforcement. After all, how can you justify an amnesty for yesterday's illegal immigrants if you're doing nothing to make sure that we don't have new illegal immigrants tomorrow? And the DREAM Act has no enforcement whatsoever in it. The most obvious candidate would be to add mandatory E-Verify to weaken the magnet of jobs that draw illegal immigrants who then bring their children. And finally, any DREAM Act, any amnesty at all, in fact, represents an increase in legal immigration because those people are given green cards. Therefore, it would have to be offset by reductions in other categories of legal immigration. The easiest place to do that would be for the visa lottery and the immigration category for siblings of U.S. citizens to be discontinued until all the numbers are accounted for of people who got green cards under a DREAM Act. There are other problems with the DREAM Act. Most notable is that the parents of these people who were adults at the time they illegally immigrated, knew what they were doing, are still going to be able to benefit, although with a lag time of several years. But in any case, the DREAM Act as it exists now is an unbalanced and incomplete response to a genuine problem. Congress needs to look at the problem in all of its aspects, not just the one piece of it that involves giving green cards to illegal immigrants.